and welcome back to the Big Red with B. Schneid Show, Iowa week. Please bear with me. I got a little bit of a cold, but it's all good. We got some tequila to get my throat ready to speak.
Yeah, brought it back from Mexico myself.
Anyway, be sure once again to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out my interview with Nebraska's only 2026 in-state recruit, Jace Reynolds, as well, and help the channel continue to grow. We got a lot to touch on, though. Nebraska, of course, got throttled 37-10 at Penn State. Just didn't really show up in a lot of ways, and Penn State exploited a lot of Nebraska's weaknesses that we already knew about. But we got to set the stage for Iowa now. Nebraska moved on. We got to hear from Matt Rhule on both Monday and Wednesday as we're recording this, and the coordinators on Tuesday, as long as some players. Jim, what is your outlook for Nebraska heading into this game on Black Friday?
Well, I hate to come down to it. No, not one game defines the season. It never does. It never should. However, with the way that Nebraska's season has went, and they've kind of underperformed all the way. I don't see a signature win out there anywhere. If Nebraska doesn't perform pretty doggone well on Friday, and by that I mean they performed pretty doggone well last year too, and lost the game on the last play. Somehow found a way to do it. They outstatted them. They outplayed them. They outdid everything and found a way to lose. So this Friday's a very important game for Nebraska's season.
And before we touch on the units for each team heading into this game, we had a question. What was Nebraska's most impressive win of the year, best performance? Best performance-wise against those FCS opponents, but Power 4-wise, you might even have to look at Cincinnati in the opener, or UCLA, maybe Northwestern, but there's really not been a game where you said, man, Nebraska just clicked on all cylinders against a Power 4 opponent.
Yeah, to me, I read a little bit about the question. What was their signature game that you could really put a stamp on and say this is where Nebraska's at? This is what they identify as. It's hard to find one this season.
Well, and you could say UCLA in a way, but Nebraska still, I believe they had, a 28-7 lead at one point, and UCLA still came back to make it a 7-point ball game. But, yeah, there's really nothing much to build upon. And before we even get into Iowa, between the X's and O's, there was a CBS report today that Dylan Raiola might weigh his options with the transfer portal in the offseason. Matt Rhule was asked about that today, and his body language came across as really odd, in my opinion.
One thing about Matt Rhule, I don't think that of all the things Matt Rhule can do and he can't do, I just don't think that man's capable of lying. I don't think he will publicly and to anybody. I just don't think he will. Will he avoid the question in order to get there? And I think he did. But it's obvious that guys like Dylan and in the days with this everybody moving around and NIL, whatever, I think every player weighs their option at the end of every season. So I don't know that that's a big question. And if Matt answered in the affirmative, I don't know that that's any voila. It's no big deal.
Well, we'll see. I mean, this has kind of been something that's been speculated ever since TJ Lateef made his first start under center anyway. There was going to be drama for Nebraska. It's going to be something that we're going to have to watch play out. Maybe we'll get word of something as early as Saturday. Might not be something it might just be something that was just all talk, and Dylan's the quarterback next year. Who knows? I'd say it's 50-50 right now, wherever direction Raiola decides to go. But I do want to also ask you, so Emmett Johnson is not a finalist for the Doak Walker Award, although he is second in the nation with just under 1,600 yards from scrimmage. He is one of only 3 backs in Power 4 schools with at least 1,400 yards from scrimmage as well. And his 143.8 yards per game from scrimmage is second nationally, amongst a lot of other stuff. He also became last week at Penn State the first running back since Samir Abdullah to have 4 consecutive 100-yard rushing games.
Welcome to Ty Robinson's world. I mean, the guy was a hell of a player, added the most to the team of anybody out there, and he was not very well respected in the Big Ten or by the national press. And so right now, in the same way with Emmett, he's done some fantastic things despite some cards being stacked against him. That Nebraska gets or deserves the national respect, and their players get the respect that they perhaps should. And Nebraska as a team doesn't get any respect, and I understand why. So I'm afraid it comes down on individual players too. So,
well, let's jump. I mean, I think Emmett definitely got snubbed for doing it and what he's done for a Power 4 program. I mean, how many wins Nebraska would they have if it weren't for him? But for Nebraska's offense, storylines, keys, TJ Lateef making his first start under center inside Memorial Stadium. What do you expect against a Iowa defense that's always sound, fundamental, discipline, ferocious? Phil Parker always has that group ready to defend opposing offenses, especially Nebraska's over the years.
well, actually, I don't know what you think, but I think for what he's got underneath his belt, and the tools that he got in his toolbox, TJ Lateef did not seem rattled against Penn State, and nor did he against UCLA. I think he played very well, and so I don't see TJ Lateef being the guy that'll lose you a game against Iowa. So I think he's going to perform well enough to win the ball game if Nebraska is in the ball game. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, I think offensively, Nebraska, if they can just find a way to get out to an early lead once again, the last time Nebraska beat
gag a 14-point lead?
No, that's not my point. But I'm saying you have a true freshman quarterback. If you can find a way to pick up some points quickly, maybe pick up at least even 3 points on the opening series, that takes a lot of pressure off your quarterback to kind of get into the groove against a team like Iowa. Last week against Penn State, Nebraska marched down the field and then couldn't punch it in. And that was something that was interesting. So Dana was asked about that. Just the third and short, fourth and short woes. Nebraska has been ineffective to complete or convert on 3rd and 1 all season. And he said, Penn State, he said it's just simply coming down the blocking. And he said he kind of regrets the play call he had. But what's it going to be? It's going to be one of those scenarios again. I don't understand why they don't just maybe give it to Emmett Johnson more in those situations, considering what Emmett Johnson's done. The thing with Heinrich Harburg just doesn't work with him under center because they key on him, and then it's kind of a whole mess.
We're at the last game of the season, so we can talk about a lot of stuff on the table here. Heinrich Harburg has not been utilized. You're going to have to give the coaching staff probably an F on getting Harburg in the game and making him. He's a fantastic athlete, and making him part of the scheme. I just have not seen them be very effective with it this year at all. And the other thing, okay, so they're frustrated with Penn State at the Penn State game, that they get down there and the announcers, such as they are, said it was 3rd and goal. It wasn't. It was 3rd and inches, but whatever. They haven't been able to, even against the directional teams at the beginning of the season after Cincinnati. I can't remember their names now. That's how important they were. They couldn't make it. They couldn't make it. Couldn't get it in the end zone. So if the play calling was bad against Penn State, it was piss poor play calling. Then what was the problem against those teams and any other team that we couldn't get it in? So if you looked at the offensive line, they did not get much push the whole game. So, and Penn State's did. So there you go.
Oh, I think, though, this is going to be another game where you see Emmett Johnson still get at least 25 touches. Nebraska's going to have to lean on him. That's about as easy to predict as anything for Nebraska going into this game, especially offensively. My thing is, will Nebraska be effective enough to have some balance? Nebraska got into that throwing situation with TJ at Penn State because they were down by so many points. And TJ, I thought, he completed, I believe, 21 of 37 passes. It wasn't by any means jump off the table pass completion, but still.
And of those passes, take a look at the percentages of them. The throws down the field, in the throws for any more than what? There wasn't anything over 20 yards hardly, I don't think, and everything was real short, and I think that's the play calling kind of disappointing. Maybe they figured he wouldn't have enough time, and he got quite a few hurries, not near as many sacks as Dylan gets, but he didn't have the joy of sitting back there and looking downfield and checking off down to his third receiver. He didn't have that time. So, given the situation, I think he did pretty good.
One thing I would like to see Nebraska do, and I know you're going to want to control time possession still against Iowa, but I'd like to see a lot more designed quarterback runs. I've told you off air, I've told a lot of people, I like the look of empty at times with TJ. You can motion in Johnson, you can run quarterback draw, you can do so many different things with them, and he has the legs. You just want to use him. I mean, he goes down, you got nothing really much to lose considering it's your last game of the regular season, in my opinion. And then you can also get it out on those RPOs to a Ja'Cory Barney, to a Dane Key, an Isaiah Hunter. That's what I think Nebraska should, schematically wise, do against the Hawkeyes, because Iowa's always going to be sound. But if you can put them in an option type of game where Nebraska has to make some reads to make a play, well, that's where you can find a mismatch, I think, and find the open guy.
Well, let's hope so. I'm just thinking
You have to out scheme Iowa. You can't. I don't think Nebraska's going to line up and be able to outman Iowa on either side of the ball.
Huh. Have we been able to out scheme anybody this year? Our coaches? I don't think so. So if we're going to come down to trick plays and out scheming them, I don't.
I'm not saying trick plays. I'm saying just simple reads. You can hit your tight end in the flat. You can hand it off to Emmett Johnson. You can have your quarterback roll out and keep it. Do so many other different things is what I'm saying offensively.
All right. Well, then Lateef's going to have to come down and make some good checks then.
Well, we'll give our final keys at the end of the show. Next, though, the most lingering concern for Nebraska heading into this game is, of course, defending the run. Gave up nearly 6 yards a pop at Penn State last week for 231 yards. Especially in the secondary, gave up a lot of explosive plays. They allowed Ethan Grunkemeyer, a redshirt freshman who hadn't been really performing at a high level, to complete 11 of 12 passes off play action. They were getting sucked in. John Butler said simply, Nebraska got their asses kicked, which was blatantly obvious. But what do you think going in this game, considering Iowa has not only a running back, Kamari Moulton, that averages over 5 yards per carry. They also have Mark Gronowski. He is not an effective passer, but he also has over 400 yards on the ground with his legs, and a mobile quarterback has always been a kryptonite for Nebraska's defense under Matt Rule.
I haven't seen. I'm trying to think. Can you think and correct me of any team that Nebraska really shut off the run this year? Of the
Michigan State, they did.
Yeah.
Michigan State.
That would be it. Okay.
Yeah. Overall, we knew going in this season. I mean, we're not gonna beat a dead horse. We've talked about this so many times, but I think for Nebraska's sake, when you're looking at this game, you think, oh shit, Iowa can run the football. Nebraska can't defend the run. Nebraska's going to be selling out to stop this run.
And it's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold. Iowa's built for those football games. All the seniors that spoke on Tuesday said this is culture versus culture. It's coming down to the fourth quarter, final minute. And that's the way it's been the past couple of years, especially with Matt Rule's both losses, 13-10 against the Hawkeyes, both coming to a last-second field goal.
Man, I'd like to look forward to something really cool, and this game is very important. So,
yeah, well, Iowa actually has a Nebraska kid, a sophomore, Caden Pieper, who's their starting right guard.
How did we lose him?
I don't believe Nebraska offered him.
Well,
and then I believe it was Logan Jones who had an interview and said Nebraska offered him the day after Iowa did, and he basically said he kind of threw some shade at Nebraska, saying if you want to win, come to Iowa. So that's where I
can't argue with kid.
Well, Iowa's 7-4 as well, and so is Nebraska this year. When's
the last time Nebraska lost to Iowa?
You mean beat Iowa?
Yeah,
2022.
Well, yeah.
The only coach that's won ever since, other than Bo Pelini, since Nebraska's been in the Big Ten, is Mickey Joseph, who was an interim head coach.
Right.
Now here's my thing. Considering what happened last year, the past couple of years, do you consider this a real rivalry now? Because I think it's getting button heads between teams, especially what happened last year. I think this is Nebraska's biggest rival right now at the moment.
Well, I definitely don't think they like each other. Last year's game, yeah, there's some stuff that went on prior to the game, after the game, and this and that. But I think that mainly reflects off some other BS that was going on anyway. So that's just what caught the camera. So, yeah, this is probably as close to a rivalry as we got right now.
Well, and that's why I think Nebraska is going to be able to hang with these guys in this game. I really do. Like when you're looking at this, you're thinking a rivalry. Okay, Nebraska has these woes. Nebraska, I mean, Matt Rule said on Monday he's sick of seeing, the Iowa kicker wave off the fans and stuff at the end of the game. I mean, as a fan like you are, what does that do to you?
What does that do to me? Well, then I look at Matt and I think there's probably 6+ million reasons for him to not have that happen again.
Well, and next we got to talk. Since it's Iowa week, special teams are a massive, massive phase of this game. Nebraska's lost on special teams. Like I said, the past 2 years to Iowa. They fumbled that punt return last year to set Iowa up. They also fumbled a snap to kick a field goal in the third quarter against Iowa last year. And they have Caden Weegan, averages 28.3 yards per punt return. Yeah, 538 punt return yards this season for 3 touchdowns. Meanwhile, he also has just under 30 yards per kick return and another touchdown. So Nebraska's unit is going to have its toughest challenge this season. Last week against Penn State, I thought Nebraska special teams had the worst game of the season, allowing a fake punt. Mekhi Nelson returning that one kickoff, getting tackled at the 10-yard line. Archie Wilson picking up the late hit. Those really hurt Nebraska, although I don't think it really changed the scoreboard too much.
I don't either.
But I think that you got to, although Iowa has one of the better returners in America, if not the best.
You remember a guy named Tim DeWhite?
I do not.
That was an Iowa boy that was quite good, and he played in the pros too. So I think he was from Iowa. But anyway, this game, what do you think it's going to come down to? I think it's going to come down to simple things and no mistakes. No mistakes on special teams. Not doing – talk about a bonehead move. K-State with their 2 defensive linemen not getting off the field and the ref, and that's kind of a controversial call. But we can't have any brain farts like that on the field and off the field from our coaches and everything else. I mean, don't have a delay a game or don't have to take a timeout because you can't get enough players on the field in the right formation or you can't get the play call in. Those kind of things we cannot have. No kickoffs inside the 5 that gets us a flag. Come on. Nebraska's going to have to play some pretty good perfect ball because they are right now out-horsepowered and to a certain extent, from what I can see this year, out-coached.
Well, and I can't disagree. This is Iowa. I mean, it's just going to come down to that play in the fourth quarter. Can Nebraska find a way? I think Iowa's going to rush for at least 150 yards on the ground, at least guaranteed. Can Nebraska
150? Add 100.
Well, I think that if Nebraska, can they force a turnover? The Blackshirts have not been forcing turnovers of late. Can they find a way in the fourth quarter to force that turnover? I think that's pivotal for the Huskers. Offensively, you obviously got to protect the ball. Emmett Johnson, you need to have another 150 yards from scrimmage from him. We know which team each is at this point in this year, and we know how these games type go. Although Iowa entered, it opened as I believe 6.5-point favorite. Now Iowa's down to a 5.5-point favorite. So obviously Vegas is realizing that hey, Iowa's strengths are go up well against Nebraska's weaknesses.
Yeah, and how often is Vegas wrong? They're
right pretty.
They're right pretty much more than often, more than not. So,
and I am normally wrong when I goes to picking a big game. Considering I picked Nebraska last week, what did I pick him? I think I picked him 24-21 or something, and
I was short on points.
I picked Nebraska 27-21. I think you took Nebraska too.
No, I didn't. I picked Penn State.
Well, I guess
I didn't have enough points though for Nebraska. Mercy points.
Well, here's something that's I don't know if you've realized, but since Nebraska's been in the Big Ten in 2011, they have not beaten Iowa inside Memorial Stadium since their first year.
Yeah, I remember that game. As a matter of fact, some of the Iowa fans, nice people, by the way, good people. They consumed a bit more than I did before and after the game. That's a good thing. That's a good thing anymore. I'm kind of proud of myself. Once in a while, I can be proud of myself. So anyway, I'm sick and tired of it. As a fan, I am sick and tired of sitting in that stadium and watching this crap go on. We got to beat these guys.
Okay, well, I'm curious, Jim. What is your score prediction for this?
Wow. I'm going to go with Nebraska 28.
Wow, high scoring. Holy
High scoring.
shit.
High scoring. 28. Iowa 31.
Wow, that'd be one of the higher scoring Heroes Trophies games we've seen. I'm gonna go a little different angle on here. I think it's gonna be a lower scoring game, like it's been in the previous years. I think special teams are going to be very crucial. I think a guy like Ja'Cory Barney makes a punt return that comes up big for Nebraska. I think Emmett Johnson rushes for over 100 yards once again. And I think the Black Shirts find a way to force a fumble or an interception in the fourth quarter to set Nebraska
Once again.
up to win the football game. I think Iowa somehow gets to 12 points. I don't know if it's with a safety, a field goal, and a touchdown. I don't know if it's 3 field goals, but Iowa will have 12 points, and Nebraska will finish with 15 to beat Iowa for the first time inside Memorial Stadium since 2011. And Matt Rhule gets his first win over Iowa, and the Huskers are likely going to Tampa. I think the only reason I'm picking Nebraska on paper, Iowa, looks better. I'm not going to deny that.
Well, I think, and I'm going to go with you a little bit to extend it out. I think both teams have underperformed this year. Iowa was expecting a better season.
Well, they were. Michigan State took them down to the final minute as well.
Right. So Iowa State's underperformed this year also.
So, yeah, and they lost to Iowa State early on in the year. Each team has their weaknesses, and Iowa hasn't been as great on defense this year. They have had some blown coverages against Indiana. It's Iowa. We know Iowa's going to find a way to keep themselves in it if they're playing Indiana or if they're playing Nebraska or if they're playing Purdue, for goodness sakes. It don't matter. They're going to be in that football game. But Nebraska's going to find a way because of the rivalry.
All right.
And that's what I feel. And if not, I would not be shocked. But this will be a very big win. It'd probably be the biggest win of the Matt Rhule era.
I think it would. And
it's something to build on.
We were talking about that last night, not you and me, but me and the lovely lady. And she doesn't get to watch some of my comments on this show, so especially last week. We're gonna signature wins against for Matt Rhule. I don't remember any right now, but then we were talking about other coaches and stuff. Don't remember any Bo Pelini's either. But the funny part, I don't remember many signature losses besides big blowouts and things like that with Matt Rhule. So we're going to give him credit there. But I do remember signature losses from Bo Pelini, Wisconsin. What was his name? Melvin Griffith or whatever.
Melvin Gordon,
whatever. So I'm going to give Matt at least a little bit of credit there. That we've lost some pretty tight games. Now let's see if we can get over that hump. And this Iowa game, last year we went to a bowl and got a win. Okay, so let's measure that and put a star on it and all that kind of neat stuff. And so if he can get a win,
I think if you're Nebraska, you'd much rather beat Iowa than win your bowl game.
To hell with the bowl game. I want to beat Iowa.
Well, you heard it from Jim, guys. Mr. Nebraska himself. It is rivalry weekend, though. It's the best time of the year, in my opinion, for college football. So many games across the board. First one I want to pick from is Georgia and Georgia Tech, top 25. Georgia Tech took them to 8 overtimes last year. I still think Georgia pulls it off, though.
Georgia pulls it off.
Georgia. Now, here's your next one. You got your Texas Longhorns against your Texas A&M Aggies.
Aggies.
You think Aggies pull it off?
Oh, yeah.
I could see Texas pulling off the upset. They got 3 losses. If Texas pulls off this upset, they might find a way to be a 3-loss team in the playoff.
Texas hosed up the Big 8. To hell with Texas.
Well, he ain't making a pick based off of a team. He's making a pick based off of hatred.
Wow.
I'm gonna go opposite. I'll pick the Horns. Hand Texas A&M its first loss this season. In the last week of the regular season.
Love and hatred are very similar emotions. They're just
yeah. Absolutely right. Next one.
What do we got?
Well, we'll do it now. The game. Ohio State at Michigan. Michigan, I believe, has won the past 5. I think Ohio State finds a way this year, though. I'm taking the Buckeyes. Last year I took Michigan, though. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I called that game.
Well, I don't really remember or not.
That bullshit, I called that.
Well,
go back and look.
If it ain't written down, I don't know.
Go back and look last year around this time.
I'm not really don't care. Ohio State's got way more depth. Where's this one at?
In Ann Arbor.
Ugh. Gonna give me any points?
Ohio State's Ohio State's a 9.5-point favorite.
I'll take it.
You're taking Michigan.
I'll take Michigan in a stakes upper for you.
Oh, yeah, I could bet that.
Okay.
I'm confident in defending national champions.
You bring the steaks, I'll cook them, or I'll furnish the steaks and cook them.
Okay, we can definitely do that.
That's a college budget.
Vanderbilt at Tennessee, top 25 matchup. Give me the Commodores with Diego Pavia winning in Tennessee. Tennessee's actually favored by 3.5.
Oh, the Commodores are going to outsmart them.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are the prestigious university.
Yes, they're going to outsmart them.
Well, and then last one that I could actually mess up some playoff implications is Oregon goes into Washington. Oregon's a 6.5-point favorite, but they're going in the Washington, where it's always kind of a tough place to play.
Oregon's is performing well right now.
You got Oregon?
So
I'll take Oregon.
Who's CU playing?
CU plays K-State.
We got to go with K-State on this one. K-State got hosed.
Do you want to go down to it? Tickets are as low as $13 in Manhattan on Saturday.
I gotta get to Arizona. I don't want to. We're going to be scooping snow Saturday.
Oh yeah, that's right. With the anticipated snow, we didn't even really touch on that. With
3 to 6 inches.
Yeah. And then I forgot Iron Bowl. You always got to pick the Iron Bowl. Alabama versus Auburn. In Auburn.
Alabama's underperformed this year.
Not really. They have 2 losses.
What's Auburn?
I believe Auburn has 6 losses.
Oh God, you got to go with Alabama.
I'll never forget that Chris Davis touchdown. You know what? To make it interesting, you picked an upset. I guess I did pick Texas, but I'm also going to be picking Auburn to spoil Alabama's season. I think that Auburn pulls it off, spoil Alabama's season somehow. It's a bold take, but also maybe picking Nebraska to win again is a bold take.
We're going to be on before the bowl game?
Yeah, we'll be. Well, perhaps. It depends on what's your travel schedule. Jim's going to be, of course, heading down to Arizona for the winter.
Got to get ready. Got to get my trees pruned up. Got some oranges to pick. Grapefruit.
So, anyway, guys, thank you all for listening. I'll, of course, be doing more shows with Sam as well going forward. And let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe once again. For Bobby Schneider and Jim Parman, signing off.